Hello and welcome to this video of our Adria Sonic A Class motorhome, otherwise known as Sidney. Today we will be looking at the various features, where items are stored and how everything works. Okay, let's go. Right, first things first, our keys. Sidney comes with two keys. First one is your fob for your central locking and unlocking, and this is your ignition key. Second one is a key that does all your external lockers, toilet, cassette and the garage, etc. So to unlock, press the unlock button. You can hear the locks unlock, one bleep, one flash, and then you can open up. And then to make life a lot easier, we've got an electric step, the button of which is just here, and that comes down like so. Moving around the motorhome, first thing you come across is the mains hookup connection when you arrive to site. Very straightforward. Flap the cover up and just push it in till it locks in place. And when you're finished, to remove it, put the lever down and pull it out, and just make sure that that clicks down. It's important that you connect this end first before you connect up to the supply at the site. So the next thing you're going to come across walking around the motorhome is the toilet cassette, and when you need to empty it, just unlock the door, drops down, and to remove it, pull the locking handle up, pull it out, and this one's actually quite good because you've actually got a handle and wheels, so you can wheel it to wherever you're going to empty it, which should be on site an Elson point or a waste disposal point. And then to empty it, obviously you wouldn't normally do it on the grass, but this is just water. Tip it up, and if you press this button at the same time, it releases any airlocks, and then you can empty it over the drain. And then once you've emptied it and rinsed it a couple of times, to put it back in is just line it up, push it in, make sure that the handle is over there, and then shut the door. Job done. Next things along here is this, which is the vent for the Truma boiler, which sits underneath the bed. When it's operating, you can expect warm air to come out of here, and perhaps the odd smell, absolutely fine. Next, underneath this flap is an external gas point. This is for your gas barbecue if you're cooking outside, which is in the garage, and we will show you very soon. Okay, onto the garage. Great sized garage, doors on both sides, unlock both locks. Have to do them both together. So within the garage, behind this door is the boiler, but there's nothing to be done on that, but it's nice to know where it is. Comes fully equipped, fold up table, 4 fold-up chairs with side tables, an external gas barbecue, the chocks for putting under the wheels if you're on uneven ground, a mat, spare wheel, and in this middle section here is a toolkit, extension lead, a hose, and some bits and bobs for the barbecue. Also in here is the handle for the awning, which we'll look at in a moment. There's lights as well, both sides, which as long as you've got the 12 volts on work. And also something good to note is this garage is actually heated. So when you've got the heating on in there, this is also heating up. So you can, if you had to dry some, damp clothes or something in here, works very well. Also in here, one other thing is the handle for the rear legs that drop down to stabilise the motorhome. To undo the awning, first of all, get your handle from the garage, clipped at the back as we previously saw. Take it round to this hook connector here, and then unwind it. If it doesn't go straight away, like now, just give it a little tug just to loosen it. And then you want to unwind it, not fully straight away, but unwind it down to the level so that you can get to the legs. and these legs will be clipped in the middle here. And when you come to the end, you want to release it by pulling it out so it's clear, like so, before you angle it down. And then swing it down. Just put the legs in a little bit like that, just to support it at an angle. I'm going to do the same with the other side. Release the clip from there. Slide this out towards you. And then angle it down. Put the legs down a little bit at an angle, and then you can continue to unwind it fully. And then from there, you can just straighten up your legs and get them to whatever height you want. Like so. It's fine. There are pegs in there as well, so you can peg this to the ground if you want, but if the wind is picking up at all, or if it's raining slightly, you can just drop one end down like so, and the water will run off quite nicely. But if the wind is picking up or overnight, then put it back in and put it away. When you arrive on site, and if you want to minimise the rocking of the motorhome, you have got stabiliser legs on the back. And to lower them down, you need this handle, which is in the garage. And all you need to do is locate the nut there, put the handle on, and then just crank it, in this case anti-clockwise. It does come with 2 chunks of wood, which are here, and you can see that's all you need to do, just to take the weight off, and do the same on the other side. And then to put them back up is just obviously turn it in the other direction, and the leg will go back up, and stow the bit of wood and the handle back in the garage, ready for the next time. So when you're ready to leave the site, or you need to empty your grey water, most sites have a drain that you can position yourself over. Get someone to help you, make sure you're in the right position so your pipe is over your drain. And then there's a handle just under here, which you just need to turn about 1/3 of a turn anti-clockwise, and your water will come out. There's nothing coming out of here now because we're on a bit of a slope, and there's not that much water in there. But this is your grey water only, so this is from your shower, your washing up, sink and so on. This is nothing to do with the toilet cassette. So on this side of the van now, you've got 3 grills that are vents for the kitchen appliances, in the extractor fan, etc. Nothing to do or touch here. They're just, you can expect these to get warm when things are running inside. Next we have the gas locker, or LPG. So unlock that, button pops out, twist it, and door is open. Once you're in here, we supply Sidney with 2 gas bottles. One will be always full, and one will be whatever's left in it from the previous hire. When you run out of gas and you need to change these over, you need to do 2 things. You need to shut the valve off, which is there. So put that at 90 degrees. That is now off. And you need to turn the gas bottle off, which you do by twisting that all the way in clockwise. And then to swap the bottles over, to undo the hose, you need to undo this, which is a left-hand thread. So it's clockwise to release. And then put that on your other gas bottle, and when you reconnect it, you'll put it back on, and you will twist it anti-clockwise to tighten it, which seems a bit odd, but that's just the way it is. Make sure that's done up nice and tight, and then open up your gas bottle. Sometimes you'll hear a little spurt and an occasional smell, but nothing to worry about. And then flick that lever back up so it's in line with the pipe, and then your gas is back on. Next flap you're going to come across is for the water. Same key as the other lockers in the garage. Half turn anti-clockwise, push, and out you go. This takes 120 litres fresh water, which we generally fill up for you at the start of your holiday, but if you want to take it empty and fill it when you get there, that's absolutely fine. There is a hose in the garage for filling up, and to put back in, half turn to lock, and again just make sure that the flap is securely down. Next one along is diesel. Now this one is a different key. This is actually the ignition key. So put it in, half turn, press, and out you come. When you collect Sidney, he will be full diesel, and all the ask is when you return it, fill it up. There is an Esso garage about quarter of a mile away from us here in Flamstead. We're in the motorhome now, and the first thing you're going to need to do is to turn your power on at the main control panel. Very important to remember when you do leave the motorhome to turn it back off again. That just, you know, kills everything around here apart from the heating in the fridge, and that way you're going to preserve battery life. So you see various LEDs coming on. The first one is telling you the condition of the batteries in the habitation area. These are charged via solar panel when you're on hookup and when the engine is running. Telling us we've got good voltage, 12.7 volts, 12 amps. And this next one is for the battery, the engine starter battery. Next one along is for your water pump. So you're going to need that turned on. This is for your toilet, shower, basins, etc. to pump the water. Next one is your fresh water tank. It's 120 litres, which we generally fill for you before you start your trip, showing cool to full. Press it again, shows how much is in your waste water tank, your grey water tank. Again, cool to full. And the last one is for a heater for this, but that's not really relevant for your trip. Next one along is for the electric up and down double bed and the reset fuse, but we'll come on to that in more detail once we get to that section. Moving along here, we have a 3-pin 240 volt socket. There's 5 of these in the motorhome, but they will only work once you're connected to a hookup. Above that is a cigarette lighter adapter, currently got a twin USB charger in. And above that is an aerial socket, which we don't need to use because you'll generally be running on the satellite dome on the roof, which we will come on to shortly. 2 other things to mention, neither of which you'll probably ever need, but it's good to know. Underneath this cushion is where your habitation batteries are and also your fuses. So if there ever is an issue, you've got your main fuse box is here, and then this one here is the trip for when you're connected to the hookup. But like I said, hopefully you'll never need to access that, but it's good to know. And the other one is there's an inverter, and what an inverter does is it converts the 12 volt batteries to 240 volts in theory. So it's in here, so you could plug you know, hair dryer or something whenever you needed, if you desperately needed 240 volts. And it's in here, and there's a little switch at the back to turn it on. Green LED comes on. It works fine, but this will sap your battery life quite drastically, so it's kind of emergency use only, really. The first bank of switches we've got here when you come into the motorhome, first one is for the electric step, which we've already touched on. The next one is for the outside light under the canopy, and then these two do interior LEDs and lights. Next one, 240 volt socket, and then lastly is a USB charger. This will only work once the power is turned on at your control panel. On the lighting, we have various other LED lights that switch on and off individually. There's 6 of them just in the cab and kitchen area, and on the ceiling you've got these funky lights front and rear, which you can have on clear white or blue. In the centre of the motorhome we have a carbon monoxide sensor and a smoke sensor. You'll see a little LED flash every couple of minutes or so to make sure that the batteries are good. If they're chirping, it means the batteries are running low, and if they go off, or to reset them, you just press either button in the middle. Okay, so when you've arrived at your destination and you're ready to relax and have some dinner or whatever, you need to turn these chairs around and adjust the table. Very straightforward. There's a lever on the side of the chair, If you flick it forward, releases the lock. You can then swivel them around, get where you need. Same with this one. And the table, which is unlocked at the moment, so we can move it in any direction we like. Once we've got it where we want it, well, we can adjust the height as well, by the way, with this lever here, so you can go up or down, but I would imagine most people would want it at the full height. Once you've got it where you want it, you just lock it into position by one twist knob there and another one there, and then everything is nice and solid. Okay, the operation of the windows and the blinds and the mosquito nets, etc., I'll demonstrate now. They're the same for all of them, but the rule of thumb is they are very fragile, so the rule of thumb is if you're having to force it, you're doing it wrong, so just please take your time and take care. The mosquito net just pulls down, clicks into place. To release it, like so. Blackout blind, it's like this. And you can have half and half if you wanted. And to open the windows, little button, press and release, all three. And then if you just push them up gently, they'll latch into place, and there's, you know, you can have them fully open, there's various different positions, but if you open it all the way up to the top, it comes back in. And then just lock them. If you travel with the mosquito nets down, you cut out some of the rattles, which you do tend to get, unfortunately, in all motorhomes. So, skylights, we've got 4 skylights in here. This particular type is the same as the one in the shower. And to open it, press the button in, pull the handle down, latches into place. This is fully open. Or if you go on the other one, slight draft coming in there. Very important that before you drive off, you make sure that it is snapped into place and locked shut. This, as on all the other ones, mosquito net and a blackout blind for at night. Moving forwards, we have 2 of the larger style. This is the same as the one over the rear beds. To open this, pop the handle out, turn it clockwise, up it goes, and exactly the same as the others. You've got your mosquito net and your blackout blind for nighttime, and also in your door you have your blackout blind here, and you've also got a large, you need to have the door open for this, but if you were somewhere warm and you wanted the door open for fresh air, you can also put this mosquito net over and keep the bugs out. Televisions. So within Sydney there are 2 televisions. They both take DVD, USB, HDMI, and obviously the signal from the satellite receiver, which once you've reached your destination you will need to tune in, and the receiver is in this cupboard here. Very straightforward. If you just flick the on button at the top, what will happen, the dome, which is on the roof, you'll hear it shortly, will spin around and it will lock on to the nearest satellite receiver, which I think is Adria 2 usually. Once it's stopped, you can then turn this off and it will stay locked on to those channels, and then you're good to watch TV. You need to select which TV you want to give this signal to, and that is done via this switch in the cupboard here. Once you've set up the satellite receiver and all your channels are tuned in, remotes, there's 2 remotes, the same TVs, same remotes, but each one will work on each TV. On this front TV, pull the pin out and then you can adjust the TV around to wherever you need it, whether you're watching it in bed or at the dining room table. In the kitchen and dining area we have these high level cupboards. First one here is where you'll find your kettle and tea and coffee and salt and pepper and so on, which we provide with your rental. The next one is where you'll find your glasses, mugs and plastic beakers. And this last cupboard here is your plates, large and small, bowls, and there's a few games in here, DVDs, playing cards, etc. In the kitchen area we have this sink with these hot and cold. There is also a washing up bowl which doubles as a drainer, which is in the cupboard, which I'll show you shortly. Got a very handy little bin here for your food scraps and bits and bobs while you're preparing. And drawers here. The top one is all your cutlery and everything you're going to need. And then we also provide you with foil, cling film, etc. And this bottom one will be empty, but we generally use this for dry foods, that kind of thing, tins and whatnot. Next cupboard along is where we keep all the cleaning products, kitchen roll, bin liners, wipes, etc, etc. Above the hob you have two switches. First one is for your downlights. The next one is for the extractor fan. Every time you're cooking with the gas, you're going to need to make sure the fan is on, or the skylight is open, or the window behind is open. Very important. Next thing along here, you have a 240 volt socket, and this is the switch for the lights in the cupboard here, where your glasses and all your mugs are kept. Now the hob, assuming you've got gas in the bottle and the gas is turned on, very straightforward. Twist it, press the igniter, keep your finger on it for a few seconds, and then you're good to go. There's a safety valve with that turns the gas off. And here you've got an oven and a grill. So if you're lighting the oven, just turn it round, keep your finger on it, press the igniter, and then just keep it on for a few seconds until the flame is constant. That's your oven and grill. And then when you're finished, it's quite firm, just give it a push to lock it back into place. Okay, so now the assembly of the barbecue and the connection and so on. There's instructions in here, but it's far easier if you just watch someone doing it. So first things first, get all the parts out and see what we've got. Let's assemble the legs. At this point, it's probably easier to show you the connection of the gas hose while the barbecue is upside down. It is a push fit at that end, but this side is a screw fit, and it is a left-hand thread. So you have to go that way to tighten it, which is unusual, but something that's happens with gas stuff. And just give it a little tighten up. Okay. This is a stabiliser that goes underneath. Just clips in place. Like so, just hold the legs together. And the hose is just a push fit. Once it's on, this tap can then open. You can't actually open this tap unless there is something attached to it. So once that's done, put the bottom of the pan in. Now you'll notice on here there's two little grooves, and they line up with these two grooves here. Like Okay, now to light. Assuming the gas is all on, put it in, hold it for a few seconds, turn around to the igniter, keep it held in, and you see the flames are now going. And then from there, you can put on whichever style you want. You can have this one if you wanted to get the flames going through and whatnot, or you can have, there's a griddle pan, this one, straight pan, like so, and then the lid goes on. Give that 5 minutes or so, and then you're ready to cook. When you're finished, dismantling it is a reverse. This is, you can just control the flame strength here, by the way, to low and high, and that's off. When you go to connect, turn the gas off at the tap first, and then to release this, push that in, and you can see slide the ring up, like so. And that's now safe. One other thing to remember is when you've finished and you're leaving the site, to turn your gas bottles off. You can't drive with your gas turned on. Here we have the cupboard where all your pots, pans, frying pan and drainer and washing up bowl are kept. That's an expandable pop-up washing up bowl. Beneath this cupboard we have the fridge and the freezer. So to turn the fridge and freezer on for the first time, press the power button. It defaults to auto mode and it will select the best mode for it. Gas, hookup electric, or the car battery. You just heard it clicking there, that is the gas igniting, which is fine. If you did want to manually select a different source, you use the left-hand button and it will flick through the various options, but best to leave it in auto. Fridge knows best. This button on the right just increases the temperature. Technically it decreases. The larger the bar, colder the fridge. So that's on minimum and that is on maximum. Top freezer compartment, very effective. And then below we have a decent size fridge as well. And lastly, in the kitchen, you have this cupboard underneath the fridge. Dustpan and brush in here, but more importantly, these are your isolation valves. You should never need to touch these, but if for whatever reason you need to turn off the gas, you do so like that. And that'll be for the fridge, it's for the cooker, and that is for the boiler, the heating. On to storage cupboards and drawers now. First one next to the fridge is here. You've got good sized cupboard with a hanging rail at the top. You've also got this TV aerial and amplifier, but we're going to ignore that because you generally don't use it, because we've got the satellite dome, which is much better reception and much better channels. There's also a runner carpet there which you can roll out and put out in front of the kitchen. It's quite nice. And hanging on the door is your fire blanket should you need it, and there is also a powder fire extinguisher to the right of the door, the entrance door. Beneath that you have a drawer, nice deep storage drawer. To the left there we have another concertina door. Inside here there's a light which I've already turned on. Hanging rail in there, good size storage, some shelving for shoes or whatever you might, or some soft bags, whatever, down the bottom there. This cupboard here, another good size cupboard. There's access to the boiler here, which is what that panel is at the bottom, but obviously you won't need to touch that. And this slidey thing here is just a summer and winter setting for the boiler, but again, ignore that because that will be in the correct mode for you when you come to take the motor home. And the last drawer is here underneath this bed. Again, quite a nice deep drawer. In the bedroom on the wall here are your controls for your boiler, which do the hot water heating and the blown air heating through throughout the motorhome. Bottom one selects the source to generate the heat, so we're currently on gas. If we were plugged into the mains, we could select this, which would be just electric 1 kilowatt, just electric 2 kilowatts, or for maximum efficiency you'd have the gas and the electricity running at the same time. The full Monty there, 2 kilowatts and gas. But for our purposes now, we're in a field, so we're just running on the gas bottle. This position is off. If you wanted just hot water, so in the summer, either 40 degrees or 60 degrees, 40 is absolutely ample. And then if you wanted just your heating on, you'd flick it round to here, and then you would select the temperature via here. 5 is the hottest. And if you wanted your heating on and your hot water, you flick it round to that position and adjust your temperature for the blown air heating in there. And then when you're finished, you turn it back to the off position. Right, in the bathroom now, and first things first, light switches are over here. First one does the mirror and the shower. Next one does your downlighters. And you have also got this funky remote control which changes the LEDs in the shower, so you can change the colours, you can make them dimmer, brighter, make them flash, or just turn them off, or just have them on standard white, whatever mood you're in. And up top you've got plenty more mirrored storage cupboards. Your window, same as all the others, so you've got blackout or mosquito net or blackout. The basin's standard mixer tap, so left for hot and then right for cold, tons of pressure, and you'll hear the pump kick in there. Underneath the basin, concertina door, again you've got some nice good storage down here. And the toilet itself, this does actually swivel around, so you put it in a position you're comfortable with, I guess depending on how tall you are. Go to use it, first thing you need to do is to pull this lever. That opens the flap down into the cassette now, and then once you're finished, quick press on this button. That flushes the toilet using the water in our fresh water tank, and then slide the lever, closes the flap, and then put your lid down. In the shower now, I have a bifold door, which once you've finished, before driving off, make sure that that is locked in place. Standard mixer tap, hot and cold, left and right, shower head, and above you have the skylight, which really you should open a little bit once you're using the shower, just to let all the steam escape. So in the rear bedroom, you have a handy little pouch here for your phones, iPad, whatever, and the remote control for this TV, same as the one in the dining room. Above that, got some nice little adjustable reading lights. Get more storage space above. Now it will come default as 2 single beds, but you can, with the use of these infills, make up one large double, and you've got this shelf that pulls out here, like so, and then put that in. This is an upgrade memory foam, which is very comfortable, and then you end up with a huge couple. Above the heating controls is this switch, which is the light switch for the strip light above the lockers above the bed. And above this is your 12 volts, just push that in, for the bedroom TV and your connection for your satellite. When you're ready to lower the Overcab double, first thing you need to do is to fold these seats down, and all you do, just twist either direction on both seats till they're out of the way, and then move over to the control panel as long as it's turned on. Keep your finger on the down button and you will see the bed dropping all the way down. Fix your ladder on. And then if you've taken up our linen pack option, which is duvets, sheets, bedding in total, towels, etc, etc, then the bed will be made. Otherwise you're welcome to bring your own. And then at night, if you wanted a privacy, there is a privacy curtain there as well. And there's your skylight, which does open, blackout blind, mosquito net. There's also lights here, quite nice, which will automatically go off when the bed goes up. And there's a nice shelf at the back there for your books and phones and so on. One important thing just to note, back to the control panel, is you'll notice this little fuse thing above here. If you keep your finger on this button for too long, normally when you're going up, it will sometimes strip out, and you just reset that by pressing that button. A good feature with this bed is if you were to put small children in here and you're worried about them rolling out at all, this safety netting thing is stored underneath the mattress, and it just rolls up, and then you just click it in to place, pull it tight like a seat belt, and then everything's safe. Okay, in the cab now, I'll show you the driving features and the storage. Starting with the little drop down there under the driver's seat. There's a tray there, some quite good space for storage. There is one under the passenger seat as well, but that has got the jack in there. Storage in the side, massive locker here, huge shelves there and there. You've also got a cup holder. You've got a sliding window, which to unlock, slide that up, pull that lever down, and then you can slide it forwards and backwards. You've got the blinds on here. There's just one on this side, which is this, and there's a magnetic catch, puts it in place. Same on the passenger side, but they've actually got two there because you've actually got a door. The blind on the front here, believe it or not, squeeze this together, believe it or not, is your sun visor. So that's in the first position. As a second position if the sun was very low. And then at night, all the way down is your blackout blind. Okay, so driving, very similar to any other large van, 6-speed manual. There's your lights and indicators. The only thing that people might not be familiar with is the cruise control. So to use the cruise control, get to the speed you want to be at, turn it on, green light will come on the dashboard down here to say that it's active, and then moving it up increases the speed, bringing it down decreases, and if you want to cancel or resume, you can press this button to pause it and then to start it again, or if you touch the brake pedal it will turn it off, or obviously you can just turn it off like that. Heating, air conditioning, if the light is on, that means the air conditioning is running. If it's off, you're just blowing air, not air conditioned. Other standard controls really here. Now the head unit will accept your Bluetooth, it's built-in navigation, etc. And if you put it into reverse with the ignition on, you'll see the reversing camera will come on, and there are also reversing sensors. And to turn this stereo on, there's a little switch on the top here, which needs to be in the on position to override it. This little thing here is the microphone, by the way, for the Bluetooth on your phone. Other than that, twin USB charging points here, cigarette lighter, no smoking, no please, but you can plug something else in, and obviously the cradle there for your phone. On this one, the release button is around the back, so if you press that around the back, you'll see that it releases your phone. Yeah. 2 glove boxes underneath. This one will have all your various manuals in, and then there's also another one up the top here, which when you're running air conditioning does blow cold air into there, so it's quite nice for keeping your drinks. There are also 2 leads in here, one for an iPod if you're coming here from the 1980s, and a USB if you've got any USB device that you want to put through the stereo. And finally, on the clipboard here is details of if you run into any trouble and you need to call out for recovery. And this thing's very important, this checklist. They're all things that you think are obvious, but it's amazing how many you forget. So it's good just to go through these before you set off. Hopefully that has covered everything with Sidney, but if you need any further information, feel free, contact us on our website. Details are on the screen now. Other than that, all I can say is thanks for watching and have a great trip.